Hello, everyone,
I hope you are all doing well.
and that life is bringing you peace and knowledge. Today, I, Zaid, will take you into the story of the Byzantine Empire, a civilization that stood as a bridge between the ancient and medieval worlds, preserving Roman traditions while creating a new identity of its own. The Byzantine Empire, often called the Eastern Roman Empire, was not simply a continuation of Rome in the East. It was a powerful and innovative state that lasted for more than 1,000 years after the fall of the Western Empire. Its capital, Constantinople, founded by Emperor Constantine in 330 CE, was known as the New Rome. Strategically located between Europe and Asia, this city became the heart of Byzantine politics, religion, culture, and trade. The Byzantines spoke Greek rather than Latin, yet they considered themselves Romans. This dual identity helped them maintain a unique blend of classical heritage and Christian faith, which shaped their empire in remarkable ways. The empire's early centuries were marked by powerful rulers such as Justinian the Great, who dreamed of restoring the Roman world. He launched campaigns to reconquer lost Western territories and invested heavily in magnificent building projects. The Hagia Sophia, with its vast dome and glittering mosaics, remains one of the most extraordinary achievements of Byzantine architecture. But the Byzantines were not only warriors or builders, they were keepers of knowledge. Their scholars preserved Greek and Roman texts, which later travelled west during the Renaissance, changing the course of European history. They developed sophisticated systems of administration, military strategy, and diplomacy that allowed the empire to survive,
Even when surrounded by rivals.
Before we move to our today, I want to say that this channel is user-friendly, no offensive content.
No misinformation.
We explain things with respect, curiosity,
And authenticity.
The Byzantine Empire also played a decisive role in shaping Christianity. It was here that many of the great church councils took place, defining doctrines that still influence faith today. Emperors worked closely with church leaders, blending political and religious authority in ways that gave the empire strength, but also created tensions that would echo for centuries. Constantinople itself became legendary. Its massive walls, advanced defenses, and strategic waterways made it nearly impossible to conquer. Merchants from across the world filled its markets, with goods from Asia, Africa, and Europe. Travelers wrote of its splendor, describing it as the wealthiest and most dazzling city of its age. The strength of the Byzantine Empire did not come only from its armies or its capital. It also came from its ability to adapt. For centuries, the Byzantines faced constant threats: Persians in the east, Slavs and Bulgars in the north, and later, Arab caliphates pushing westward. Yet the empire developed clever strategies to survive and even thrive. One of the most remarkable military innovations was the use of Greek fire. This secret weapon, a fiery substance projected from ships, could burn even on water. It terrified enemies and gave Byzantium control over the seas for generations. The formula of Greek fire was guarded so carefully that it was never fully revealed and remains a mystery even today. Another strength was diplomacy. Byzantine emperors and envoys
Often preferred negotiation to endless war.
They used marriages, treaties, and even gifts of gold to manage rival powers. In many cases, the empire survived, not by defeating enemies outright, but by turning them into allies or keeping them divided. Cultural life also flourished. Art in Byzantium took a new direction, different from classical Rome. Instead of statues and natural forms, Byzantine art focused on mosaics and icons. These shimmering images of saints and holy figures decorated churches, palaces, and monasteries, reflecting the deep connection between faith and daily life. Education was highly valued. Byzantine scholars preserved works of Homer, Plato, Aristotle, and Roman law codes. The empire's greatest legal achievement was the Corpus Juris Civilis, or body of civil law, compiled under Emperor Justinian. This collection influenced legal systems in Europe and beyond, laying foundations that shaped modern law. But with achievements came challenges. The empire often faced internal struggles. Court intrigues, revolts, and religious controversies sometimes weakened unity. The debate over the use of icons, known as the iconoclast controversy, split society for more than a century. Some emperors ordered icons destroyed, while others restored them, showing how deeply faith was tied to politics. Economically, Byzantium prospered, thanks to its control of trade routes. Silk from China, spices from India, and gold from Africa passed through Constantinople's markets. The empire even developed its own silk industry, breaking China's monopoly after smuggling silkworm eggs into the empire. This gave Byzantium immense wealth and influence in global trade. By the 10th and 11th centuries, the empire reached a period of revival. Under rulers like Basil, often called the Bulgar Slayer, Byzantium extended its power and secured borders with military strength. Yet, beneath this power, pressures continued to build. The later centuries of the Byzantine Empire were marked by both brilliance and vulnerability. As the medieval world shifted, the empire found itself caught between rising new powers in east and west. In the 11th century, the Seljuk Turks became a growing force. The Battle of Manzikert in 1071 was a turning point. The Byzantines suffered a crushing defeat, losing much of Anatolia, their main source of grain, soldiers, and wealth. This loss weakened the empire deeply, though it did not end it. Seeking aid, the emperors turned to Western Europe. This appeal contributed to the launch of the Crusades. At first, Crusaders passed through Byzantine lands as allies, promising to fight common enemies. But relations soon grew tense. Cultural differences, religious disagreements, and political mistrust created divisions between Byzantines and Westerners. The most devastating blow came in 1204, when the Fourth Crusade, instead of marching to the Holy Land, attacked Constantinople itself. For 3 days, the city was plundered, its treasures stolen, churches desecrated, and ancient knowledge scattered. This event shocked the medieval world and left Byzantium fractured. Although the empire was restored in 1261, it never fully regained its former strength. Yet even in decline, Byzantium remained a center of culture and learning. Its scholars studied astronomy, medicine, theology, and preserved manuscripts that might otherwise have been lost forever. They developed new military manuals, explored advanced theological debates, and maintained ties with neighboring powers. Through diplomacy and trade, Constantinople itself remained an unmatched symbol of resilience. Its triple walls, reinforced with towers and moats, were considered nearly impenetrable. For centuries, they protected the city from waves of invaders,
Arab armies, Bulgars,
and even powerful steppe nomads like the Avars all failed to breach its defenses. Still, time was not on Byzantium's side. The empire became surrounded by ambitious states, including the rising Ottoman Turks. Meanwhile, internal struggles, economic challenges, and shrinking territories reduced the empire's ability to project its old power. By the 14th century, the empire had become a shadow of its past, holding only Constantinople and a few scattered regions. Yet even then, its culture, art, and traditions continued to inspire both East and West. As the centuries passed, the Byzantine Empire grew weaker, but its spirit endured. By the 15th century, its power was reduced almost entirely to Constantinople and a handful of lands. Yet even in this final stage, the empire remained a beacon of heritage, a living link between the ancient and modern worlds. The final chapter came with the rise of the Ottoman Turks. Led by Sultan Mehmed II, they were determined to take Constantinople. In 1453, after a long siege, the Ottomans brought massive cannons and a relentless strategy. Despite brave resistance, the walls that had protected the city for centuries could no longer hold. On May 29, 1453, Constantinople fell. This event marked the end of the Byzantine Empire, but it also marked the beginning of a new era in world history. The fall was not simply a military conquest. It was a turning point that shifted power, trade, and culture across Europe and Asia. Many Byzantine scholars fled westward, bringing with them ancient Greek manuscripts, knowledge of philosophy, science, and art. Their arrival in Italy helped ignite the Renaissance, a cultural rebirth that changed Europe forever. In this way, the Byzantine legacy continued to live on, inspiring artists, thinkers, and political systems long after the empire itself was gone. The Orthodox Church, shaped by Byzantine theology and tradition, remained a central force in Eastern Europe and continues to this day. Byzantine architecture and art influenced countless cultures, from Slavic kingdoms to Islamic courts. Its law codes, diplomacy, and military strategies also left lasting marks on world history. The Byzantine Empire may have ended in 1453, but its spirit survived. It was a bridge between East and West, between the classical world and the modern one. Its endurance for over 1,000 years is proof of its strength and adaptability. All the information we provide comes from verified historical sources, including the works of Procopius, Anna Komnene, Byzantine records,
and modern historical research.
Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Thrones of Knowledge, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified on time. Suggest our next topic in the comments to help make our journey even better.